On YouTube, it's your boy McLovin here doing a deck profile, you feel me, with my boy Cody. He finally did it. He finally got it. Congratulations, brother.
It's been a hell of a run, bro.
How'd you do? What'd you play, actually?
So we got 8th place at the Tulsa Regional with Swordsoul, Swordsoul Tenyi. Of the decks I had access to, this was probably like the safest deck I could have played. Like, I felt comfortable with everything. It seemed simple. Like, my ratios were kind of weird. I played a little bit of spice, and the spice really mattered today. So for first shout outs to the boy Connor for driving us up here.
Yes, sir.
I had to do the car justice, bro. I had to do it.
Yes, sir.
Major shout out is Ryan Redenbaugh. He literally loaned me the entire Swordsoul deck the Wednesday beforehand. So, bro, that's for you, bro. Thank you. Well, this wouldn't be possible without you. And then shout out to all the OKC players, the DZ people that came up here. Shout out to both my dads, Josh Rice, Josh Bennett, Bowie for being the homie. Just too many people to name. Jensen for topping. We had 3 OKC players in top cut, which was phenomenal, like for an OKC performance. Last major shout outs are both to my mom and dad for just always telling me not to for always trying to teach me to help me like get over, because there was a string where it was just nothing but top 16s over and over and over and over again. And then Fort Worth killed so much of my momentum. I felt so bad after Fort Worth. Like, I almost didn't want to play today, but the homies hooked it up. Connor he convinced me. And thanks, shout outs to Juan for recording it. And yeah, shout outs to my parents and my older sister for literally never telling me to quit. Other than that, that's it for most of my shout outs. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry. I'm fucking tired and I'm about to cry. So.
What was the matchups like?
So my matchups today was round 1 was VW 2-0. It was pretty simple. He made a board of Shen Shen, Chuche, Dragoon, Crystal Wing, broke the board, killed him next turn. Dinosaur 2-0. Simple, easy. Mech Knight Kaiju was the most stressful match of the entire day. I literally beat him because he shifted me 3 games in a row. And I locked him under his own shifter so he couldn't. One of the spices here negated his what the fuck was that? The Kaiju Slumber. So that was the only reason I won. After lunch was round 4. Despy, I 2-1'd him. He just really didn't have a chance. Striker was round 5. Striker was the hardest matchup for the entire day because this deck loses to Striker so hard. And the only reason I got there was because side deck card saved me in round 3. Dinomorphia was round 6. That was a very cool deck. So much life pain. He was down to like 12, 25, 12, 13 at one point in life. Jesus. A lot of half, so beat him 2-1 because he didn't commit his judgment to any of my plays, and once my emergence resolved to get me a Thomashide, I was beating him that game.
All right.
My 2 losses came back to back. Was the winner of the event, Joey Lynch, Brave Dragon Link. I bricked game 3 and he anti-spelled me. I was like cooked. And round 8 was Salad. He beat me 1-2. And Neb Veiler's a hell of a combo.
Yep.
Teeth Soul's nice. And then last round was ABC Therion. I anti-spelled him game 3. Sorry, Romero. I didn't mean to do it to you, but that's why this card needs to get banned.
Yeah.
But that was the matchups.
And I think it's time to crack down on the profile.
It's 45 cards in the main. Just getting out of the way. 3 Ecclesia, literally the best girl. This card was amazing all day. Sometimes I just specialed it, didn't tag out, and normal than any other Swordsoul and played. So play around Token Collector. I played around Token Collector all day today. I didn't get Token Collector once because I played around it all the time. Standard 3 Moye. I summoned this back off of a Baxia because I didn't activate the token effect that turn and killed him. Because he was prepped to negate the Moye and I Baxia'd it to summon it back, so that was a good play. 3 Longyon. I drew this card like almost every fucking day. It was every game. It was so nice. Yep. Off of the Moye draw, it was like so much game. 2 Taie. Standard. You don't play 1. Don't play 1. Play 2. Because if you banish the desires, you just can't play that game. Like, you need this to grind. For the Tenyis, it's 3 Vishuddha, 3 Ashuna, 2 Adhara, and the 1 Shidana. Shidana was busted all day today. I broke a Therion board because this could activate in damage step and King can't activate in damage step. Broke that board, killed him. The only issue I think was I wanted another Adhara because I banished 2 to Desires a lot today and it really sucked, but like it's what it was. The Tenyi ratios were fine except for the 3rd Adhara, but I couldn't find the room. For the spells, it's 3 Emergence. The 1 Summit, this card was important for playing through Nib, because if I got Nibbed, I literally summoned back my Chi-Zhao and I still have Disruption on their turn, plus I have the token on board to try to kill them, because a lot of times the Nib token was too big and they didn't have a way to out it. 2 Desires. This card's God card. When they Ash my Emergence and I Desires them, they're just like, oh fuck, I guess I lose, and they lost, because they literally drew what I was going to search anyway. 2 circle, 2 cycle, 2 was fine of each. One of each got boarded out like every game 2 when I was going second. Against the Dino player, I kept in the second one so that way he couldn't UCT my board, but it didn't matter because I wasn't letting him get there far. This card is really broken, being a +1. There was one time today where I had the only play I could make was Taye dump, or Taye's normal summon Taye, activate this, dump a Moye, or dump a Longyuan, and then I Taye, banish the Longyuan, make a token, and Hara add back the Longyuan, and I was playing from that point, but like, the one God card, ban this card's not fair. This card's too sacky as a 1 of, either put it to 3 or put it to 0, ban this fucking card, honestly, this card's too good.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
My hand traps, actually, yeah, I'll say this for last. Hand traps, 3 Ash, the best card in the game right now, best hand trap in the game, beats Despia by itself. Beats random stuff, stops ABC from trying to play. It's also a level 3 tuner, so I made a Baron with it once today. It was kind of nice. I main Droll. I was afraid of the ABC Therion deck, and I was afraid of the Despia deck that was on the all gas build when they're not having hand traps. And I drolled the Despia player. I beat the Therion player. I had to bait the Griffin Rider to be able to droll him that turn, and I just didn't droll well because he anti-spelled me. But it's whatever. 3 Veiler. It's really good. It's a level 1 tuner, so it's busted. 3 Imperm. I love this ratio. Don't think I missed anything else that wasn't this. Last 2 cards is the 1 Blackout and my spice of the day. Look at me when I tell you this. Every time this card resolved, I won the game that turn or the next turn. The God Trap, Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi. Everybody who read this card today lost. Every time.
Yeah, let's look at that. Read that, boys.
Literally, so the notable things, I had an anti-spell up, and he went to twin this on my anti-spell, and I negated the twin, beat him. I negated a nib when I was pushing for a game, because he's like, I'm nibbing you right now. I'm like, no the hell you're not. Nib stayed in hand, I popped his Aluber, killed him. This negated a droplet that sent spell monster, and I'm like, alright, get cooked, idiot. Oof. And then everybody who read this, lost. This card was a god card today. I just didn't play 3 because I didn't have 2 ultras. I'm not trying to play Mismatch Rarities. But this card was insane. Also, the reason why, so the tech behind this is because this searches it in the grind game, so when you're trading with your opponent, and you go this, you just search for a counter trap, and now you're at least 1 card ahead of them, and you stop their top decks, which, that's what this card does, stops top decks. I beat a Swordsoul mirror, not the Swordsoul, what was it? Sorry. I beat the Striker match because he top decked Engage, and I had this for the Engage. Like, it was so good. This card was so good. Like, nobody played around it because nobody knew it existed. It was phenomenal.
And that's tough. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying nothing. But that's tough, my nigga.
45 cards in the main. I wouldn't change a card except to try to fit the 3rd Hara, but do you want to go extra or side?
Extra's fine.
All right, go to extra. 2 Chijao. There was a time where I wanted the 3rd one of this, but I was losing that game anyway. That's standard. Berserker made this so many times to play around Token Collector, it wasn't even funny. Double Baxia. It didn't come up where I double Baxia to player for 4 spins, but it was fine either way. The Baxia really just mattered today for like cheekily playing around certain cards so Moye would resolve. Other than that, Baxia was fine. Spinning back rows under anti-spell was good. Dragonite didn't make it, but in theory it's good against back row decks. I was expecting some Eldritch today, so I played this, and it didn't come up, but it's fine. It didn't come up. Yazi came up once, just as a bridge, really. He token collected me on my Longyuan, so I normal then on Hara, made this, popped his collector, specialed out a Tai, and I played from there. Chao Feng never summoned it actually. It was the one card I didn't summon the whole day. But it's good in theory if you're smelling Nib. But if I'm smelling Nib, I'm not playing. I'm just gonna try to get enough advantage and play through it. Baron, God card. Cheng Yang was insane today. This card was insane. Like this card, just getting to 5K, putting a 2-turn clock on the opponent. Nice. And this card, oh my god, I had so many people that read this card and they're like, oh, that does all that. I'm like, yes sir. It's Librarian. It's a double Ghost Ogre that burns you for 2,400. This card was like sometimes when you just make and like if I did this a lot today where when I wasn't smelling Nib game 1, I went for this first then this to get a couple pluses, and that actually mattered a lot. Because the only time this got nibbed was when I had a summit in hand, so it didn't matter. For the links, it's 3 monks. Don't pay attention to this one. It's the only non-super that I have. And then the 1 shaman. Shaman was god today, dude. People that cut this card, you're bozos. This card is unreal. Look at you, play shaman. I'm telling you, this card is the reason I'm holding this right now. Just Getting back your Chi Zhaos, getting back this. I brought back a Cheng after the striker player like took it and linked it off. I'm like, all right, cool. Bring it back. Now you have to re-deal with this, and it's bigger. This the effect that locks you out of the effects of except for Tenyi from the extra deck never mattered today because the only monsters I was summoning back extra deck monsters with this. There was a turn where I summoned back a Taye and Taye made this to go push for game. This card is overperformed today. The only thing I did miss, I wanted to play an offset today because I was wanting to respect the Therion deck, but there wasn't really anything solid cuttable for it. People try to tell me to cut this, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Bozo alert. I would have probably cut this if I was playing.
Snapping. I can't even. It's like I can't say nothing. This dude is snapping right now. No lie.
Also, but
So, in other words,
You weird, buddy. You're weird.
it didn't matter. So that was extra. Honestly, the only card, like I said, the only card was Chao Fang, and
Alright.
it's good in theory. For the side, 3 nib.
sheesh.
Yeah, so people
Got nibbed at the last
people thought I was maining this all day because when they saw me playing it, it was game 2 or 3, and they were like, "All right, cool, he's got nib in the main." That worked to my advantage because I knew because there's sharks in the waters, bro. They see nib on my board and like, all right, they're like, "Okay, he's on nib in the main."
I'm like,
Nah,
bro,
bro.
I just run the cross out, just deal with it.
I respected back row a lot today, so 3 twin,
Shit.
Twister,
I did
or not
too.
Duster, reboot. I rebooted the Dynamorphia player game 2 to beat his second fusion spell because I
Jesus.
ashed the first one. He activated the fusion spell again, and I rebooted his ass, and I killed him that turn. That deck was pretty sick though.
Nice.
2 Chalice. Honestly, I never used it today. This probably could have been something else, but this is to play around Token Collector. But like, I feel like the engine does it enough as it is. The God card. This card's stupid.
Get
That's
this
the reason.
card banned, please.
This is the reason I lost to the solid player who got 5th. I think it's 5th or 4th, and then the other God card. This card. Fuck this card.
Yeah,
Ban this card,
yeah,
please. Ban this card.
He won.
Any card you need to ban.
He won
This-
that.
Until I get my top.
Yeah, but that was a deck. Honestly, it felt really good today. Like, I didn't really have any complaints. Like, again, shout outs to Ryan for letting me borrow the whole deck literally the Wednesday before. Yeah, and it finally feels good to get my top after 14 years since I got my last top in upper deck. But yeah. Also, Tulsa, acknowledge me.
Congratulations.
You there, sitting at home, acknowledge me.